Welcome to this explainer. Go ahead and pull up a chair, get comfortable, because today we're jumping right into a really fascinating journey. We're going to unpack one of the most intimate, emotionally charged conversations in all of history. It's basically a fireside chat from the Gospel of John, capturing a moment that literally changed the trajectory of the world. But more importantly, we're going to look at how it directly applies to you today. So let's start here. I want you to use this question as our mental model for today. How do we actually navigate a world that just feels increasingly hostile and confusing? When the storms of life hit hard, when the waters start rising and the noise gets absolutely deafening, what anchors you? What keeps you from just being completely swept away by the current? Well, that brings us right to the big idea for today's explainer. The Holy Spirit acts as our internal compass and our ultimate co-pilot, guiding us through the immense complexities of life. And if there's one absolutely crucial thing we're going to uncover today, it's the profound importance of actively listening to the Holy Spirit speaking to our heart. Act 1, the context. Okay, to really get a grip on this, we've got to step back in time. Picture this. It's the night before Jesus is crucified. The atmosphere in that upper room is incredibly thick with tension. And Jesus, with just this amazing, intimate care, is preparing his closest friends for really harsh reality. He warns them about the fierce religious hostility they're going to face. He literally tells them they'll become outcasts. But the key here is that he doesn't frame this as a defeat. Instead, he explains it as a tragic symptom of the world's spiritual blindness. They're going to face rejection simply because the world has rejected him. To help us wrap our heads around this, I love this insight from the author of our newsletter, a guy we affectionately call Papa, who is the husband of Colonel Debs and the son of the late Papa Q-Bear. Papa writes that the Spirit acts as a trusted guide to help them speak and engage the world. You see, Jesus is preparing them for a lifetime of sharing good news, and there is no way he's sending them out unarmed.
And this specific word brilliantly illustrates exactly how they're armed. Jesus introduces the paraclete. It translates to helper or advocate. In ancient times, this was actually a legal term for a defense lawyer called right alongside you to render aid. It's such a great image. Jesus wasn't abandoning his friends. He was passing the baton to this ultimate divine companion.
Act 2, the tension. Now here's where we hit a massive theological tension. Jesus tells his grief-stricken friends something that honestly probably sounded completely crazy to them. He says it's actually to their advantage that he goes away. I mean, how could losing the physical presence of Jesus possibly be a good thing? Well, it comes down to a stark contrast. Jesus incarnate, in his physical body, was limited to one location at a time. But the Holy Spirit? The Spirit is omnipresent. By leaving, Jesus paves the way for the limitless global expansion of his presence, indwelling every single believer all across the world, all at the exact same time. There's this fantastic historical metaphor shared by Dr. David Harrell, quoting the great reformer Martin Luther, and it just hits the nail on the head. The Spirit doesn't just hover around us like some nebulous, invisible cloud. No, Luther says he uses the believing heart as his own chariot to ride into the world. How cool is that? The Spirit intimately partners with us, actively working through us. So what's actually happening from that chariot? Dr. Harrell breaks down this threefold conviction really clearly. First up is sin, specifically zooming in on humanity's core problem of unbelief. Second is righteousness, pointing straight to Christ's perfect standard, which basically proves we can't save ourselves. And third, judgment. This is the ultimate mic drop that Satan, the ruler of this world, has already been totally judged and defeated at the cross.
Act 3, the connection.
All right, so the real trick is connecting these huge theological concepts directly to you. How does this actually play out in your day-to-day life? Check out the profound, gentle kindness of Jesus in John chapter 16. He says, "I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now." He totally recognizes our human limits. He knows we just can't handle all the answers all at once. It's such a comforting assurance that the Spirit is patient. He meets us exactly where we are without ever overwhelming us. Author Mike Mason builds on this idea beautifully. He reminds us that God's revelation isn't just some closed, frozen history book that we memorize. Not at all. The Spirit is here to reveal the living, breathing truth of Christ for your life right now, today. It's an ongoing, dynamic, daily conversation. Picture yourself holding a compass right in the middle of a massive storm. The rising tide of the world's complexity is crashing over you, and the needle on that compass is just spinning wildly out of control. But then, as you intentionally tune out the noise and tune into the spirit, the needle slows down, and it locks steadfastly onto true north. That is exactly what the Spirit does for our minds and our hearts when the world around us is in total chaos.
The synthesis. We've covered a ton of ground today, so let's synthesize all these fireside stories into some clear, actionable wisdom. Here's what you really need to take away from this explainer. First off, opposition in this world is completely expected. Don't let it shake your faith. Second, the Spirit is our omnipresent global co-pilot. Third, remember that the Spirit is the one doing the heavy lifting of convicting the world. That's His job, not ours. And fourth, and really most importantly, we have to actively choose to listen to Him.
I want to leave you with this final piece of wisdom from Papa. He writes, "It is an easy choice if we listen to the Holy Spirit speak to our heart." Think about that. The ultimate power for your spiritual endurance isn't found in you just striving harder and burning yourself out. It's found in the daily, quiet choice to simply listen to the Holy Spirit speaking directly to your heart and accepting His guidance. So here is my question for you to chew on as we wrap up. In a world that is practically designed from the ground up to distract you, will you quiet the noise today? Will you tune your heart to that inner voice and choose to let the Holy Spirit be your co-pilot? The chariot is waiting for you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.